Have you seen Skin Deep before, Ryan?
Skin Deep?
Yeah.
I feel like this is a trick question, but I'm going to go ahead and say yes. I don't know who's in that movie.
Do you see it's John Ritter? Do you see the link in the chat, the studio chat there?
Anyway, okay.
YouTube link. I was telling the guys about that before you got on, and they'd never seen Skin Deep.
I've seen more now than I ever wanted to.
Yeah.
I feel like that you said it's a John Ritter movie.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of John Ritter movies like is it from the 90s?
I think late 80s.
This looks 80s.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's late 80s. It's the one where the scene with the glow in the dark condoms when the husband comes home.
Yep, I've seen Skin Deep. I mean, I also saw one that's not with John Ritter. I think it was with John Holmes, but it's a different movie.
Yes.
Welcome back to the Five Dirty Bikers podcast. Presented by Memphis Shades, the clear choice for custom windshields and fairings for your motorcycle. And Wild Ass Seats, stay in the saddle longer and in total comfort no matter your butt or budget.
Do you know I've never watched like Star Trek or, get this, any of the Star Wars movies?
Fuck over?
Can we
Where's
get him
the
off
eject
right
button?
now?
Eject.
I was having sex, dude.
With
Sorry,
yourself
busy
doesn't
having
count.
sex. Oh yeah,
having
right,
sex
yeah,
with Howard the Duck.
Counts in some places.
Hey,
No, I never got into it.
If it was in Tennessee, your cousin also doesn't count.
Oh no, we're not going there.
Andy, you pulled back there. What were you going to say? It seemed like you had something good on the
I
tip
just
of your
like
lip.
to remind people I live in the South, but not the dirty South.
Yeah.
There you go.
Wait, there are far less people in your corner of America than there are in Tennessee. So,
Which begs the
would
question:
say-
why do you continue to date on the same branch of the family tree?
No, not me, bro. I got Ancestry.com. I got 23andMe. I made all of my dates and my now wife go through that.
Can I swab your cheek
Yes, why
before this goes any further?
Yeah.
He probably didn't get permission. He probably just did it because we know he's a stalker. So
No, I'm not.
he's not asking.
No. I'm not gonna Me Too somebody for a fucking mouth swab for 23andMe. It's consensual.
But you said, Prentice, your wife's from Florida anyway, right? She's a native
Yeah.
Floridian.
Native, yeah.
Yeah, so you're probably pretty safe there because no one that lives in Florida is from Florida except for the people that are.
It's true. I mean, my dad got around. He lived a healthy life. But no, I think I'm safe.
We just talked this weekend with Greg's family that, if there were ever a child that showed up on our doorstep and said, "You're my daddy," I'm okay with when that happens, as long as they're 15 plus. They're 15 plus years old,
There you go.
because if it was
there you go.
15 years or fewer, then we've got issues, lots
Right.
of issues.
So like a 12-year-old shows up, you're like grabbing
He's dead.
Greg by the ear. He's dead.
Greg's
He's
dead.
But isn't there 12 years? That's kind of close though. Isn't there a statute of limitations on that? Like 12 years is really close.
No, she's saying because they've been together for 15 years.
No, I know. So that would have been like 3 years into it. You're in
Right.
the long haul now. So
Right.
No, he better have not been sharing his little dilly-dally with anybody after he met me. Well, I had a 7-hour ride home today, and I listened to some old school FDB.
Yeah.
Did you?
Oh my gosh. I just went to the bottom of Spotify
Yeah.
and just chose one from like every single
Season.
season. Yeah, it was fun to listen to. It was really impressive. And I love how many of the listeners have been around for that long, and they've been discussed or brought up in all of those early episodes as well. That was pretty fun.
Yeah. It's there's been some people that have hung in there tough for quite a while, for sure.
Yeah.
6 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Walter's
6
one
years.
of them.
Wow.
Matt, they're all good guys.
And you've probably met most of them that have hung in there that long.
Yeah.
Because they'd be the ones that have pretty much shown up for everything. In fact, I got a text message today from Jay Sherman, and this is exactly the text. It says "nuggling?" ? And then a smiley face. So if you can remember from you can't, Dave. You should go listen to it. But we talked about the word "nuggling" is when your nuts are being snuggled by the polyester pants.
Yeah, I was going to say in specific polyester pants.
Polyester pants called nuggling.
Is that a thing from the 70s?
No,
Chips.
Chips. The show Chips.
Ah.
Yeah. And now
Definitely.
you won't be able to watch Chips without just completely viewing it from the waist down.
I tried. It's true. Yep.
There you go. But yeah, and so Jay Sherman would be one of those people that went all the way back that far, Andy, and that was a text message I got from him today. That's all it was. That's all the text message said.
Now, while we're on the subject of listeners, I had a surprise visit from Chad
I
at the
saw
dealership
that.
on Saturday. Did not?
Did he
did not
rode
see that
down to
co-
you?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Jackie knew, but I didn't. He said, I think I'm going to surprise him. She goes, okay. And then the next text message he sends, he was surprised.
That's hilarious.
And I was, yeah.
Yeah, I noticed in that picture that you sent, because Chad has a fat bob. He's done something to his tank that I hadn't noticed. He usually, every time we get together every year, he usually shows me what he's done to his fat bob to remind me how much I miss mine. But it looks like he put a different, what do you call the strap on the top of the tank?
Strap
He
on?
relocated his Speedo. So he added, looks like maybe from a lowrider or something across the top of his tank. Isn't that
I should know this because my friend literally just changed one out for carbon fiber. Like a tank trim. I don't know what that's called.
I don't know what you
Console,
call
whatever
it.
you call it.
Yeah,
Console trim.
Maybe it's
Console,
console,
maybe,
yeah. I don't know when
Does
he
it
did
serve
that.
a purpose?
Cosmetic at this point. I mean, because on the Fat Bob, the Speedo sat inside of like a built-up, whatever you call it, console or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But he relocated his
Gauges.
his gauges up top to the new bars he put on, and he's, I guess, put that piece on top of the tank. It actually looks pretty good.
I'll say, I bet that looks good.
So he's doing a little Dynabro Fat Bob. He had it when he came.
Welcome, brother.
The first time we saw him, it was very Mad Maxed out.
Very apocalyptic.
Yeah. He's slowly made his way out of the apocalypse and into this century.
Well, he was fabricating a lot of the parts that he was putting on
Yeah.
on the Fat Bob when he first got it.
Yeah.
That is one
sure.
of my favorite bikes, straight up. Like
Fat Bob?
Love it, man.
It's such a beautiful and apocalyptic looking bike from the beginning, right? Like it looks like zombie hunter bike, and I've always loved the newer. I mean, my dad had an older one with the dual headlights, but I really love the new one.
Yeah,
I
it
think
lends
it's so
itself
much
to a
fun
lot
to
of
ride.
it lends itself to a lot of different styles too. You can do a lot with that bike that it open, you can lower it, it looks really good. You can raise it up on a higher suspension and Dynabro it out, it looks really good. You can fairing. I mean, there's so many ways that looks good, and not a fat front tire and back tire does not look good on every frame. But the stance of that one, they got it right.
Yeah.
They really did, and I'm disappointed that bike went away. I really am.
Can we
Yeah.
change the subject? Now I'm getting
You don't need
emotional.
you don't need to
Yeah.
cry, Dave.
I'm getting
you shoulda-
emotional.
You should have kept that one. You should have never traded it in on
Dude,
your
trust me.
on your bike.
If I had any way to make it work, any way at all, I did because it wasn't a money thing at
Yeah.
all. Although I got a shit ton of money on trade-in, but I couldn't make it work with the fucked up garage we've got.
Oh, that was right. It was a garage thing.
Yeah.
That's what it was. I remember that now. Yeah.
Yeah. I would have had to kick my wife's car out of the garage, and
Yeah.
that wouldn't have gone over well.
Yeah, I hear you. You should have got a he shed.
We don't have. I live in Northern Virginia, dude.
I don't know what that means.
That means there's no room for stuff like that where I
Oh.
live. My yard is actually 3 feet of grass on either side of the house.
That's
3
nuggling.
feet would have been plenty of room. Yeah,
No
that's,
back.
that's nuggling for sure.
You nuggle your neighbors.
Yeah, right.
You nuggle your neighbors.
Don't leave your shower window open.
You
Or
just
do.
open
I
a
would,
window on
yeah.
the side and just have a casual conversation without raising your voice.
Exactly.
Kind of like on what was that movie? Grumpy Old Men.
Oh
Just
yeah.
garden hose out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's what it was like when I lived in Los Angeles. Like because you
Dude, I
don't
couldn't-
have, I didn't have any central heat or air, so like we showered with the window open, and you could literally see into the kitchen of my next door neighbor. We just kind of give like a "What's up?" and then that's it. I mean, you couldn't see everything, from like chest down, but yeah, just give me
Right.
all "What's up?" Keep on going.
Yeah. I mean, they could have probably guessed what you were doing if
Oh no, they knew. I was soaking wet, Ryan. They knew what I was
You
doing.
see soap flying up.
so
Yeah.
Or in
flying
this
up,
direction, maybe.
Yeah,
one arm against the wall.
yeah, right. Yeah. As long as I wasn't watching them, that's the important part. When you made eye contact, that's when
Yeah,
it got
you-
difficult.
That's when it gets uncomfortable, right?
That gets a little creepy.
You look over and then you realize the people that are staring at you just made eye contact with.
Yeah, you do the thing where like you look at them, and when they look at you and they catch you looking, you just quickly avert your eyes.
Yeah. Is it worse when you're staying in a Red Roof Inn, Dave?
Well, if you don't open the door, you never have a chance to make eye contact. So
Yeah.
You
just stay outside the door.
Yeah, you just stand outside the door long enough to make a nice, decent recording, and then you don't
There
have
you
to
go.
worry about the eye contact.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got
good.
your got your
works.
signature glass on the door. Just fuck yeah. Give it to him. Give it to him.
Where are the rates going for Red Roof Inn these days anyway?
Well, I don't know, dude, but there's a Red Roof Plus on the other side of St. Louis. I'm gonna go by it again on Saturday. I'll stop in and find out.
Ooh, $49.99.
What is a Red Roof Plus?
So it's like the Holiday Inn Express for
Right.
the Red Roof.
Red Roof Plus has the glory hose already installed.
Yeah.
And you get a breakfast.
I swear
There's
to
the
God,
breakfast
guys.
buffet.
I don't want to eat that breakfast.
Yeah, you do. Come on.
It's a pass through.
It's a
we don't
texture
book
thing.
a
I don't
Red
like
Roof Inn.
creamy things.
Upscale economy hotels.
Upscale economy hotels.
Yep. There you go.
I'd like.
Looks nice.
I'm upscale economy. That's me. Book it. Run it. I feel like if there was a word to describe me, it's upscale economy.
I love that description. We might have to we have to use that from now on.
The budget build.
The budget build.
Sleep easy, spend less.
Now
Ooh.
that's life. That's how you do it. I swear, guys, if we don't for the next FDBM, if we don't
We
have
gotta
Red Roof
stay
Inn,
at a Red Roof Plus
if
now.
we don't stay at a Red Roof Plus, I'm not coming. If we don't stay at a Red Roof
We're gonna go
Plus,
in every room with a black light too.
yeah. No, you don't do that. That's against the rules.
Yeah, I don't want to know.
Yeah,
I don't want to know.
Yeah,
want to know either.
Just bring a sleeping
Blissfully
bag.
ignorant is the way.
Yeah. Black light.
And if you,
in
and
your room,
if, and if
just
you
ask him
guys
for
don't
trouble.
say it, people are gonna be like, "Where's Prentice? Oh, I think he's literally staying at the Red Roof."
I'll sleep on my bike outside before I blacklight a room.
Yeah, for sure.
That's just
You
not
just
a-
go into that unknowingly, blissful ignorance.
Yeah. Even if you stay in the really expensive motels, you blacklight those bad boys. It's like a Jackson Pollock painting in those bitches.
Yeah, go to
Straight up.
Vegas.
Yeah, literally anywhere in Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We stayed at
This room is decorated in early seaman.
we stayed at one of those hotels on the strip that I'm trying to think of the name of it, but we went in there and it has one of those floor to ceiling windows, and
Yep.
we were like whatever, the 23rd floor or whatever, and it was like everything was automatic, right? All the buttons worked, the curtains and everything was automatic.
Did you
And
see the
floor to-
smudge marks on the
Oh,
glass?
floor to ceiling glass. Yeah, I just like looked sideways and you could see handprints on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh yeah. And it was like we got a really good deal. And then when we landed, it was right after the new Las Vegas football team opened up there. And because we were flying a certain airline, they upgraded our rooms. So that's why we got this like nicer room. It was a really nice room. One of the nicest rooms we've ever stayed in.
What property
And-
were you on?
It was downtown. I know we could see. Oh man, I wish I could. The Wynn. I think it was the Wynn, maybe.
Win.
Oh, the Palazzo across the street from the Wynn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was one of the Italian ones. Yeah.
Yeah, those are really nice
'Cause
setups there.
all the shops in the downtown were all like
Yeah.
the super high end. You know what I mean? Basically, they don't let you in if you don't meet dress code.
Yeah, Crystals. My girlfriend used to work there. My ex-girlfriend worked there.
Your ex-girlfriend's name was Crystals?
No, she worked at the Prada in that place.
No,
Yeah,
her name was
Palazzo and the
her name
Venetian
was
both-
Candy, but she worked at Crystals.
Yeah, they
Sure.
both have
Yeah.
really nice, like standard rooms where it's that two area, right? You got the elevated sleeping area, and then you've got the step down living room with the floor to ceiling. I've spent many a nights there. The funny thing,
Are those your handprints?
no, not my handprints.
Dave was
But you
here.
know, I've worked there a lot, and
Gotta be somebody's.
when you're going to work at like 5:30 in the morning, then you see all the people coming back towards the elevators.
Yep.
You know, holding their shoes or missing
Yep.
their shoes, or and those two hotels. There's a habit of college and 20 somethings going in, and they'll get like 10 to a room. They'll have like 2 people check into the room.
Yeah.
But because the rooms are so big, there'll be like 8 or 10 of them sleeping in there, and it's just it's quite funny. I've always wanted to do like a coffee table book, of just get my camera and sit down by the elevators in Vegas at the hotels like that. And
Yep.
just take photos of everybody coming back doing the walk of shame.
Don't kid yourself. There's 8 or 10 of them in those rooms, but ain't nobody sleeping, Dave.
No shit.
Yeah.
They're sleeping with each other.
Yeah.
Lucky.
They're snuggling.
They're nuggling.
Snuggling.
Are those sheets polyester?
Nope.
No, but their dancing pants are.
So what are we talking about today? I think we have a topic that was brought to us by one of our Discord members, right?
Yep. Uncle Vic is the star of this podcast, everybody.
Uncle Vic.
Ooh.
Dear old Uncle Vic. Uncle
All right.
Vic says,
What does Uncle
Yeah.
Vic say?
we have all heard or said, I ride for my mental health. How true do each think this is? I argued with my doctors over me riding this year over medical reasons. I rode the day after I left the hospital and it helped. Then I got demoted because of my diagnosis and I went riding and it helped. Then the worst day of my life happened. I lost my only biological son at 26 years old. I refused to ride because I know it would not be safe. Several weeks later, I rode the bike. I plan on leaving him, and it helped, but I needed to get through the hardest part of mourning first. That's deep.
So did
Yeah.
the doc? Is he saying the doctors disagreed with him?
Sounds like it.
Yeah. Well,
So
first
they're-
of all, let us say that we are all deeply sorry that you lost your son at 26 years old. That's
It's horrible.
that's terrible. No matter the circumstances, that's terrible. But the question is deep, and the question I think goes to, whether or not riding a motorcycle does, affect your mental health. So,
Well, and I'll just start by saying, I mean, obviously, I don't know his health diagnosis or the reason why the physicians weren't recommending that he ride. But, being a cardiology nurse or even like I know neurologists and things like that, there are medical reasons why a physician would have concerns. So I think it's, is it a concern because if something were to happen to you while you're on that motorcycle, you could injure yourself or the others around you? Or is it because, you're just maybe you need to get through this, through something like maybe like what Greg had going on, he needed to get to a point where he was safe to ride. So I think that's an important thing too, because like if you're having seizures and stuff like that, and until you've had clearance, there are medical reasons not to do it.
Right.
Right.
But there's also scientific proof that it actually will positively affect your mental state.
Oh, absolutely.
right.
Yeah, if we're
so-
talking about physical versus mental health, like
Yeah.
one of the things that I like to say, as in medicine, is that you what is it? It's not a placebo if it works, right? Like, or is it a placebo if it actually works? And if riding makes you feel a certain way, and you feel better when you ride, then ride. Right? Like maybe, and to Andy's point, not necessarily saying that it's going to cure some physical ailment, but mentally for sure. If you're able to, and I think it probably has a lot to do, and we can talk about this, where you don't focus. It's like when I do jujitsu, like you don't focus on anything but what's right in front of you.
Right.
It's the same thing with riding. You can't afford to focus on anything other than what's right in front of you. And I think for that little bit of time that you get away, maybe it clears your mind, right? Or maybe, like in the zen of and art of motorcycle maintenance, like you feel one, with your environment rather than being in a vehicle. And yeah, no, I think it's great. And if it works, why wouldn't you do it, right? Unless there's a physical reason.
So as an aside, that's literally my favorite book.
Yeah.
I mean, I read that when I was, I think, 17.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if any of you guys remember, but Harley actually paid for a study a number of years ago. Don't quote me on that. I don't know if they paid for a study, but they published the results of a study that was done about motorcycling. I should say that. I don't know that they paid for the study, but they published the results of a study that was done where they actually hooked up people with monitoring their cardiac rhythm, their brain rhythms, a variety of things. And they had them ride for a period of time while physically measuring all of these things. And it was I don't recall the exact results, but it was enough to say there was empirical scientific evidence that riding a motorcycle lowered your blood pressure. It decreased, like if you had ADHD, right? It lessened the EEG waves that are in your brain that are causing all those synapses to fire, rapidly. So they measured a whole bunch of things in all of their tests that they did, and it was a double-blind study that was done. So they measured people with it, without it, all of the things. That riding a motorcycle has a very significantly positive physiological effect on your body.
Well, I mean, there's proof that it increases the dopamine in your brain.
Right.
Right. That's and again, what we're talking about here is getting on a bike and riding a bike to ride a bike, not to ride a bike to be an asshole. Right. I mean, those are two very different things. But,
right.
I mean, yeah, you're right. There's scientific evidence that it does have a positive effect on a human mentally, for sure. But I think at the same time, that ultimately leads to positivity around physicality as well.
Right. Well, and you're burning. I think it's like up to 650 calories for every 40 minutes or so that you're on your motorcycle.
No shit.
Yeah, because of how engaging it is in your pretty much your entire body. Because
that's almost as much as you get from having sex for 3.5 minutes.
Not me,
isn't it?
Prentice, not
Wow,
me.
cuddle time too, Dave. You're stretching it.
I might burn 60.
You burned that from smoking a cigarette, man.
Over there.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's worked at least twice, and that's all I need to know.
Yes, sir.
And it also makes you feel good. Motorcycle riding and sex both make you feel wonderful.
Yeah, I think going back to what Prentice was saying earlier, though, I mean, one of the big differences for that, I've always found with it is like when I was going through all the struggles that I was going through, and I tried everything, I mean, meditation, yoga, which was not a pretty sight. I mean,
Did you do hot yoga, Dave?
Well, it was hot when I was done. That's for damn sure.
Yoga pants.
But it never worked for me. Right. But going back to what Prentice said, the reason that motorcycling worked for me is because when you get on the bike, and this was the decision that I made almost 7 years ago now, right, to start riding again. When you get on the bike, you don't have to do anything to clear your mind. Your mind will be clear, right? Because you can't think about all that other bullshit, right, that's going on. But if you're trying to do like meditation or whatever, it takes a hell of a lot of effort and a long time training to be able to clear your mind. And that's why I think that's one of the benefits of doing things like getting on a bike.
Yeah, in a way, it kind of forces you to slow down, right? And that's one of the things that I struggle with. More, not I wouldn't necessarily say slow down, but like being present, right? Like feeling your feet on the ground, being sensual to your environment and understanding what's going on. And I don't get enough of that. And I think there are times when I get too caught up in that. And riding does help. what's the old saying? It's so true. The old hats say it. You never see a motorcycle outside of a psychiatrist's office, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's in a way it's, I don't know. I mean, it might not work the same for others, but I think, it does, Dave agrees with me at least in that it does kind of force you to focus on one thing, and you do to the point of the book, right? You feel grounded. It kind of becomes like an extension of you, and it gives back what you put into it. So I could definitely see how it works. For sure.
It's very visceral, right? Because I've been in these discussions before with people say, "Oh, well, I get the same thing from or I could get the same thing from driving a car." Not really the same level. I mean, when you're riding a bike, I mean, you're setting on the motor. You're completely exposed to the environment and everything that means.
So maybe a washing machine, but not a car.
Hey.
I've never sat on a washing machine. I don't know.
Those old ones.
I'd give
Those
it a
old
shot.
ones. Those are good.
With the one like leg adjusted off from the other three.
Intentionally, yeah.
I can tell you, I distinctly remember this when you guys were talking about this, and this reminds me. So back when in the early days of motovlogging, and I'm going to use Dustin as an example, when Dustin very early on in his channel, he was recording and doing motovlogging either on his way or on his way to or on his way home from work. So it was either the sun was either rising or sun was either setting. And he almost always ended his videos with some type of music or a local band or something like that. And what was really cool about it to me was that it was like he was riding a Sportster. You could see the vibration, like the handlebars through the like POV of the helmet cam. You could hear the exhaust pipes. You had the music in the background. There was, always some type of cornfield. You could place yourself in that moment. Of that situation. And ironically enough, when I was consuming a lot of these videos, it was when it was snowing or winter here, and I couldn't ride. And it had a very similar effect to to doing it. And so that's truly what I believed to be that moment. And I actually made my own video about it a long time ago. And I used a line from a Dave Matthews Band, and I called it "The Space Between." And I've talked about it before. Those are lyrics from a Dave Matthews Band, and it's like that point in time when you've thought about and processed everything in your brain, and there's nothing more to think about, and you're caught in that moment of completely living in the very moment to moment that you're in, and that's what it's like riding a motorcycle, right? And so I think that, and it's not unlike meditation, highway hypnosis, whatever you want to call it. That's I think where it has that effect on your mental health, your physical health, all of those things.
Yeah, I mean, I've never had a bike. There have been times when I haven't had a bike, and there have been times when I have had a bike, and I always feel better when I have a bike. To put it in its simplest forms, I always feel better in those times. And I like that too, Ryan. Like you talked about Dustin's videos, and there's this one guy that I can't think of on social media right now, but he basically does kind of the same thing on a Royal Enfield, and he just rides around like metro areas. And I watch the same thing, other than like cornfields. It's like riding through New York. There's something ironically serene to me about someone riding, and it has to be a Triumph or a Royal Enfield or something with a little bit of class, not a Harley, right? so I like all it just so happens that all these videos are like European or what have you, and there's just something super serene about just no talking, no like commentary, just raw footage of riding through the city, and I love that. Like I like hearing the ambiance of the city. Because I never really got that, so it's really cool to hear.
Yeah, I had a friend one time that was told me she was watching one of my ride videos when I think I was going through West Virginia, through the mountains, and she said I lost myself and she said I caught myself leaning with you as you were going through the switchbacks and stuff, just kind of honed in on the minute. So it'd be interesting, Andy, from your perspective, because you ride as a passenger a lot, right? I've never had that experience. Is it the same type of a thing that you get from being a passenger?
I will say that I don't think being a passenger, and maybe I'm only saying this because I am who I am. I'm a control freak. So being on the back of a motorcycle, and I trust Greg with my life, or, if I'm riding with my dad or whoever, I can let go a little bit, but at the same time, I'm very much paying attention, and, there's always kind of there's always something inside of you that's like, okay, so do they see that? But you also don't want to be the asshole who's like, oh my God, doing all that stuff. So when I started riding on my own, I think I felt it more. I was able to experience that riding for myself and not being a passenger, because I was in control and I wasn't depending on somebody else. I had it all in my own two hands, so to speak. So I would say being a passenger, I enjoy it immensely, but I don't think it gives you the same, that same serene experience that you guys are talking about.
Dave, if you want to find out, I'm happy to put you in the back of the dyno.
I'm not riding bitch on anybody's bike, bro.
Not even on my trike?
Your trike, I might,
See? Yeah. You bring that third wheel in. Everybody's changed his perspective.
Maybe.
Creepy old man.
I take that personally.
Hey, dude, if a great looking blonde says, "Do you want to ride back on the back of my trike?" The answer is always yes.
I know a couple
That
guys
could
that are
be
blonde,
me.
dude. They'll put you on the back of their bike.
You got no hair, bro.
Yeah.
That could be me. You
No.
don't know.
I'm gonna dye my hair next
Am I
FDB
blonde?
and
I don't know.
go out on the sport go out with me.
I wouldn't even be able to see.
Come
I'd
with
be
Daddy
blind
Packer.
and
It'll be
blinded
fine.
by
I'm
the
even-
sun hitting your head, man.
I'm even accidentally showing a little nipple here.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, just pull it.
Yeah.
Just crisscross them.
Just meet
Yeah,
in
there
the
we go.
middle.
Yeah. You'll reach around, Dave.
Hold on, bro.
I will add to that, though, just us, Greg and I going through what he went through this April and the surgery that he had. I knew that getting back to motorcycling, or getting back to the motorcycle world for Greg, was going to be what helped him heal and recover. So I was constantly thinking about his mental health, because he missed out on an incredible summer of riding. And I think, I don't know, I think maybe it was like 2 or 3 weeks after surgery, I sent Ryan a message and I said, I think we're going to buy a trike. And he's like, really? And I said, I don't know if Greg will be able to ride it this year, but he knows that if he's going to ride something first, it will be a trike before he can hold up his street glide. And for even just having that at the end of the road for him, knowing that if that option were to arise, he could do it, I think was really healthy for him. I mean, I don't recommend doing that for most people. I mean, we're lucky enough that the bike will get ridden. I have a dad and a father-in-law who will all, take it out for a spin or whatever. But that was really important to me, that Greg had that light at the end of the tunnel regardless. So, and that was instantaneously when he got injured and I found out what his recovery was going to be like. The first thing I started thinking about and talking to all of his friends about is his mental health. Like, hey, we need to make sure that he's included in any way he can be in the things that he would normally be doing with you guys. And they were all fantastic. I mean, it could have worked out better for obvious reasons. He could have not been injured, but I think we did a pretty good job to keep his spirits up for the most part.
Well, I think even just having that, right, and him knowing that, hey, there's an interim step that I have to work to, right? I don't have to get back to 100% where I can hold the bike up again, but if I get 80%, right, that's waiting for me. I think that's probably had a huge positive impact on him.
Yeah, for
Absolutely.
sure. I think there was a missed opportunity there, though, Andy. That I think that maybe you guys didn't consider that might have even helped him as soon as you brought him home from the hospital. Well, I mean, Greg's tall enough and has a long enough torso. You should have just rolled the window down and make him hang his head out the window while you drove down the interstate. I think that was a missed opportunity.
Or the
All
the
of our
sunroof,
vehicles have
right?
sunroofs. Yeah,
Yeah,
he could have just stood up.
I think it was a missed opportunity, Andy.
shit.
I think that would have been, it could have been as soon as the ride home from the hospital, just roll the window down and be, Greg, I need you to stick your head out the window. You're going to get hit with a bug. You're going to feel that wind. You're going to have that struggle of that deep breath because the wind is hitting your face so fast.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we all know what that's like. I mean, that would have, but I also think that the other thing is that you hit on that, which was even if he didn't ride the bike or got himself to that point soon enough, he had something else to focus on that would have been an option, like you said, like, oh no, I can't hold up a bike. Maybe I have a setback in my recovery or whatever it is. There's this thing that I don't have to hold up, that I don't have to balance, that I don't have to do, that all the things and still get the, And I thought about that actually when we were out in Sturgis, because I was riding by myself one day and I don't remember where I was, but I got passed by two trikes that were just ripping ass on these roads. And I was like, damn. So then I like caught up to them because I was like, I want to see what they're going to do on this corner if they're going to slow down. And then, I was like, they're not slowing. I was terrified for them. And I didn't want to see a trike with, 87-year-old lady flying through the air, tumbling. And then once I realized I couldn't catch them anymore, I just let them do their thing.
So yeah,
Fearless.
I think the other part about Uncle Vic, correct?
Uncle Vic.
Yeah.
Uncle Vic. The other part about his question, or his question / comment, was that, after he lost his son, he knew when he shouldn't be riding mentally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's really important, is that, being aware of your mental health is so important. And I think it's something in society we don't openly discuss nearly as much as we should.
Especially men.
Yeah, especially men.
amongst
men.
men. Yeah. And being able to find that common bond. And I see this a lot with our military friends. They get out of the military or whatever, and then they lose out on that brotherhood or that life that they were exposed to for so many years. And so finding that group of riders that you can have that same experience with, or same brotherhood with, I guess, I think is really important. But we've had to have those discussions with our friends who have gone through something very difficult. And it's like, he's like, let's go ride through the hills. And sometimes it's the friends that have to say, well, maybe today's not the best day. Maybe let's just sit here and have a beer and kind of chat things over or whatever. So I think him being aware that he needed to take some time for his mental health before getting back on the bike was really important. And I'm glad he included that in his statement.
Well, how many of you guys have ever ridden angry?
Every day.
Yeah, there's been times where I've left work unhappy or angry, and
Right.
Yeah, sometimes I'll get on the throttle a little bit more, and I probably know I shouldn't, but
Well, and what I always say about that too is that I've done the same thing. I've ridden when I've been angry, and it never seems to last very long.
Right.
Because either something happens that it scares the shit out of you, like I shouldn't have done that. You know what I mean? A tire breaks loose on gravel because you're pissed off and not paying attention, or something happens that snaps you back into reality, or you just have that moment, that fleeting moment of riding a motorcycle is so much easier than being angry. And it goes away. It goes away quicker. But yeah, I've never started a ride angry and ended the ride still angry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that it cures it, but it will for sure snap you out of it.
yeah.
I
I want to touch on that too, if I could. I
Go ahead.
haven't had much input on this yet, and Ryan touched on the subject earlier that I did a lot of commuting videos, and I commute a lot more now, being 45 minutes away from home. The one thing I really realized, being in an accident, almost dying, and having a lot of shit going on at the same time, where it put me in a state where I couldn't ride for a while. I learned that yes, a motorcycle ride can make you feel better, but it's like putting a Band-Aid on a severed artery. If you're really struggling with something, a motorcycle ride isn't going to fix it.
Right.
It'll put a smile on your face temporarily, but it's like I said, it's like putting a Band-Aid on a severed artery. It's not going to fix the real problem. Get your head right. Go talk to somebody. Go see a doctor. Don't rely on a bike to save your life because it's not always going to.
Straight up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. And that's the cautionary part, right? It's like at what point does something become therapeutic, or at the other point does it become something that you are like alcohol or
right.
or,
I was going to bring that up
or
too.
anything. Yeah, like at what point is it just a crutch? Yeah, that's right. A crutch as opposed to something that actually heals. And I think that, right, like anything in moderation can heal incrementally, right? But to Dustin's point, like if you're really fucked up, like get some help, dude, for real.
Right.
Because I've been there. I've been there, through work stress. I mean, that's part of the reason I'm not a paramedic anymore, was having to run pediatric trauma calls, and it
Right.
fucked me up, like bad dreams,
I couldn't imagine
distancing
that.
myself from my family. It really messes with you. And like no amount of motorcycle riding for the time, I would focus on that. But when I get back home, the shit's still there. So it's like,
Right.
if you're really dealing with something, then absolutely get help for that. But that's not to say that like motorcycling doesn't help, right? In that time. But to Dustin's point, it's very important to acknowledge when there is an issue, a real issue.
Well,
Yeah, I
and
mean, we all have to be self-aware,
Yeah.
right? I mean, and I, to Ryan's question, I mean, I don't ever recall like climbing on the bike just pissed as hell and angry and taking off. But I know there are a large number of times that I left the building pissed off in a foul mood, and then when I get to the bike, I go through like T-clocks or something, right? To shift my focus from that to get to a more even state before getting on the bike, and it's just like same with physical things, right? I mean, like, you guys know I'm diabetic, and there have been a lot of times where I wanted to go for a ride and I check my glucose like I do every time before, I start a day if I'm going to ride. And I'm like, you know what? I'm a little low. I'm going to wait a little bit.
You're so responsible
before
Dave.
you get. Well, I mean, you have to be, right?
Yeah. I mean, you're right. It's the same thing. If you
it's
have
risky.
a condition like epilepsy, like you can drive, you can ride, but you better understand like the instances in which something could go south for sure. And if you want to ride pissed off, Dave, just come ride with me. Dyna Bros are always pissed off. We start off the ride pissed, we end the ride pissed. Let's go.
Yeah, but do I have to come to Florida again for that? Because
Yeah.
I'm kind of done with Florida after
Nah,
last month, man.
we're just getting started. If you're brave enough, Florida's here.
Touche. Challenge accepted.
I'll come out. We'll go Python hunting, dude. We'll make some money.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. We don't need to do that with Andy's, boom arm stuff going on over there. We're in
That's
good
right.
shape.
That's
Yeah.
right. I think the other thing that
Forgot my lube. It's a little tacky.
you can just
Is
talk to Diddy. He's got
Or maybe
lots
it's
of it.
maybe it's my sweaty palms. I don't
Oh,
know.
Yeah.
Lord. Oh, Lord.
Technique. Is this right?
It's the Diddy Boo.
Is this right?
It's the Diddy
My
lube.
hands are a little sweaty. It's not gliding the way it should.
Mom's
At least-
spaghetti.
At least you got rid of that, like, continuous limp, you
Who's-
said
who's
it
limp?
kept dropping.
Oh yeah,
Before,
I
yeah.
mean, I'd tighten her up and then it'd drop a little bit. I'm like, no, honey, come on, perk up, and I'd tighten it up again. And
Wow, you
And
said that way too
sink.
easily. You said
know,
that
right?
way
Yeah.
too easily.
Like, I don't
Just
even
like
think that
rolled
way.
off the tongue.
Yeah, I can't even think like that. That's incredible. It's amazing.
So natural.
Yeah.
You should read audiobooks.
it's the nurse in me. Oh shoot.
I will say this. I think the other thing that that we're discounting in this whole thing, or just like maybe not even talking about, is besides the actual motorcycle and riding, the community gives you a place to belong.
Yeah.
And the community is there whether you're riding or whether you're not riding. And I think that's especially important to think about. The guys that I ride with, we ride 5 or 6 months out of the year, and we physically can't ride the rest of the time. So we are literally doing motorcycle shit the other parts of the time, podcasting or working on each other's bikes or whatever, gives us that other sense of being a part of the community, being a part of what's going on. Even quite truthfully, even January, when it's going to be 40 degrees below zero, and I go on Discord and just start chatting with people on Discord about motorcycle shit, it keeps you connected to that. And while it's not riding, it does still give you that sense of belonging to something, and being a part of something that's bigger than you are, and that can definitely have a positive effect on so many other aspects of it.
Yeah, it's that connection. I mean, I've never talked to you about this, but I owe you a lot, Ryan. Because when I got back on a bike and started riding again, you were messaging me like every few days after we found each other.
And I'm the stalker.
Yeah, over YouTube. We weren't riding together. We didn't know each other. We'd never met.
Yeah.
We'd never ridden together.
Yeah.
But just you reaching out, right? And us having that connection was just a huge, huge benefit that, that I got. And just kind of that part of my journey as I was trying to figure my way out of the hole.
Did you touch tips?
We didn't touch tips.
Yeah. You
Not
poor
yet.
things. Do you want me to send you videos in January of me riding, like selfies?
Yeah.
What is that toy?
Yes. I'd
Dustin,
appreciate
what is that toy that you got your fingers stuck in back
The
in the
Chinese handcuffs?
Yeah. The
Yes.
finger
Old
cuffs.
Chinese
cuffs.
penis trap.
God, if your name
No,
is
her
Noodle
name
Dick,
was,
maybe.
never mind.
Yeah. My problem
just
is
me?
the whole thing is just too small.
To
Wait,
fit
the
into
penis or the thing?
Yeah.
Touche.
Talking Twizzler over here.
Is it the pull and peel? Just one piece of the pull and peel Twizzler?
Oh, it's the whole shebang together.
Yeah, you got
Sharp
something
corners and
working for you.
everything.
I mean, if you get stuck, all you got to do is cut the middle of it, and then you figure the rest out.
How do you do that when both your fingers are stuck and you don't have use of your hands?
toes.
You have use. I have use of both hands when I'm. We're talking about a different use case here. Yeah, I see what you did there. Yeah, it's easy to grab scissors when both of your hands are open.
I believe Prentice just described the alligator fuckhouse for those of you who don't know or remember.
Yeah.
Wasn't
No,
that
no,
the
it was a
wasn't that the
pterodactyl.
pterodactyl
It's
he
the
was doing?
pterodactyl.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a pterodactyl.
I'm going to say alligator again. If you're brave enough, Florida is ready for you.
Well, you can go look up both of those on Urban Dictionary when we're over here, Prentice. They're both on there.
From the makers of Broveralls, Chinese wiener cuffs.
Chinese weird.
We got to start selling this shit, man.
That reminds me, Dustin. We haven't had an Urban Dictionary thing in quite
Oh,
some
I'm bringing
time.
it back.
All
I'm
right,
waiting
let's
for
go.
I'm waiting for the Halloween episode.
That's next week. We're recording.
That
Is,
is next week.
Halloween episode. Look what I got. What do you think's in here?
Ooh, looks like
What is
skin.
this?
Looks like skin-colored costumes.
That is a nude suit, and I'm wearing it. Sorry, guys.
Dude, I thought that was from your dealer or something.
Size triple XL or triple X.
Triple S.
100.
Yeah.
Triple
I
S,
wanted
extra
her-
small.
It said large. There's a big red dot on the back of it that you showed us. It's large. And if
That's
it's
right,
from
ladies.
Temu, it's not large. It's extra small.
Yeah,
Oh, so it's a guy's large.
That's a child's large.
that's a child's large. Look at Prentice. He's like, oh shit.
There's
you're in
only
it.
one way to find out.
You've just made a nude suit see-through.
Tune in next
Once
week
you-
on
I
Five
didn't know it
Digits
stretched
Podcast.
that far.
Yeah, once you
I
stretch
can't
that
wait.
fabric over you.
I can't wait. You guys are gonna lose it. You're gonna
Hey,
you're gonna
you
blow
look
my
like you're
DMs up.
Snuggling plums.
He's nuggling plums.
Yep.
That's it. My DMs are gonna be
Smuggling
blown
plums.
up. They're gonna say, "Bro, I like the nude suit." Thanks,
Are you
man.
gonna now with your new camera you bought? You can do all kind. You should really, Prentice, go riding your bike with the
Oh,
nude suit
no
on.
shit, man. Put a nude suit on and
I
go
mean,
ride
there
your
is no
diner.
way.
Yes.
There is no way.
I
There's no way that you didn't think about that already.
I
Oh
didn't
my god.
think about that.
Oh my god. That'd be the second thing I did after dancing in front of my wife in the nude suit.
Well, that's
would be
happening.
to ride my bike.
I'm gonna put boots on.
Yep.
Florida doesn't have a helmet law, right?
Right, but I
Yeah,
don't.
so you could paint a big black thing on your forehead and be a riding penis riding around in that suit.
If you get a ticket, we will bail you out.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh no! Just wear your helmet. That way, nobody can see who you
Still
are.
ride by the park.
Yeah. Yeah.
No
I gotta
shit,
stay.
yeah.
Yeah, you stay away from parks and schools, dude, or you will get arrested.
It depends on if you can see everything through it or not. If you can't see anything through it, I'll do it. But if you can see everything through it, I mean, you guys will only be able to see waist up anyway on YouTube. But if you can see everything, I'm definitely not going riding in the Florida sunlight in this thing.
Hey, you can ride in the
You
Florida
don't have a
sunlight.
tan line.
Put your
Or will I? It literally covers everything.
put your bright red Baywatch suit on.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
No, I'm in. All gear all the time. Nude suit.
So Dustin is our what was the name of that guy that you used to do the voice for? That read our jokes for us?
Urban Dictionary?
No, who was the guy that you the guy that you did? Oh, damn it! I couldn't think. It wasn't
Attenborough?
It was Attenborough.
Yeah, David Attenborough.
it
Yeah,
was
for
David
Urban
Attenborough.
Dictionary. Yeah.
Yep. That was the one.
I talked to him. He's good to come back.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
So maybe we'll have him next week.
He's a jolly old fellow. That Attenborough is.
Is next week the Halloween episode?
It seems like it is. Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
And we have a special guest that'll be joining us.
We do.
I'm excited.
Just so you all know, not only did James Sherman text me the nuggling thing, he also commented on our Instagram. What did he say? He said, "We all want to pet the kitty."
As long as you ask first, we know how that goes.
Yeah,
I saw that clip from last week.
It was solid.
Oh Lord, no filter this one.
I hope we answered Uncle Vic's question to some degree. I think we did.
Oh yeah.
While we're at it and fishing stuff from Discord, do you want to answer a few more of those?
Sure. Let's have them.
Yeah.
Okay. This one's also from Uncle Vic. We'll give him a twofer since he provided the discussion for the show. How many generations back in your family rode a Harley or any other brand? After my great-grandmother passed, my father told me about how she rode from Kansas City to St. Louis on dirt roads back in the late 30s.
Wow.
That's a badass lady.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Right? Wow.
I only go one gen back that I know of.
Yeah, and for me, it wasn't even somebody that was related to me. It was my mom's ex-husband. So no one else in my family was a rider. So
My dad had 2 or 3 bikes, Yamahas and Kawasaki's, Suzuki's maybe.
Yeah, my dad always rode Harleys, like growing up, and then I just kind of fell into that. I don't know if my grandfather did. He might have, like an old WLA, but I can't remember. I think it was just my dad though, that I know of.
I'm the first, but my son's riding. So, riding straight and
and slow, riding straight and slow.
he didn't get all my genes. Okay.
What about you, Andy? But I know your dad rides.
Yeah, just my dad. My grandpa on neither side didn't. So no, just my dad.
Okay.
And actually, I'm the only kid of my dad's that has anything to do with actual riding of motorcycles. Like my sister Rainey, she'll ride with my dad periodically or something, but she has no desire to have her own or anything like that. So
I thank God that I'm the only one, because my brother got hard into sport bikes for a minute. This is a true story, and I'm sorry, brother. I'm not going to say your name. He called me one night, and he's like, "Bro, my bike got stolen." What do you mean your bike got stolen? It was in a parking lot somewhere. I was like, what the hell? All right, we'll come out there. It was gone. 4 days later, he texts me, "Bro, I got drunk. I totally forgot where I parked the bike. It was like 2 parking lots." I'm like,
Christ, man.
I'm glad that you're not the one that's riding anymore. So it is just me as well. My daughter, my 7-year-old daughter, has this little electric scooter, and I clocked it on my bike. I had a little GPS speed on it. The thing does 18 miles an hour, and she rides that thing to a point that scares the living shit out of me. So I don't know if that's payback or if that's just her, like living her best life. But she goes full speed on this little electric scooter at 18 miles an hour. And I swear to God, she doesn't take her hand off the throttle to do a full U-turn in the cul-de-sac of the street.
Oh my!
So I think we're gonna have another rider. That's gonna be the third generation for us.
Just fully pegged. She wheeling?
Dude,
Is she doing a wheelie on that thing yet?
She would if it had just enough torque. She would fearlessly. Now my son, he tried to ride, and he rode one of his homies' little electric dirt bikes, laid into the throttle, stayed into the throttle, and promptly T-boned my wife's Subaru, head on, and he's done. He's like, "Nah, I'm out. No bikes for me.
Shoot.
I'm good." Yeah.
Yeah. Is your daughter? Is she the second child?
No, she's the first.
Oh, she's the first. Okay.
Yeah, she's the first.
Usually it's the second child syndrome. I know my second child. She's just like me. She's probably gonna ride. She's mean enough to do it though. So
she's the one that does the ball koozies, right?
My youngest is the one that makes the ball koozies, and
it's awesome.
She's my spirit animal. I mean, we are the exact person. She's just a 12-year-old girl, and so that like looking at a 12-year-old girl and seeing yourself is for me, it's terrifying.
Yeah, it's also illegal in like 48 states. So.
And she's officially over the last month or so, she's officially become the second tallest person in this house.
I was going to ask, has she got the tall genes?
Yeah. My wife's 5'1". My oldest daughter's 4'11". My youngest daughter's like 5'3" already, and she's 12. Yeah.
Wow. Oh wow.
She's all legs. Yeah. She's gonna be tall. I would guess I'm gonna say 5'7", 5'8", easy, if not taller. Yeah, and she's something. Long, straight hair. That's the only thing. She doesn't have curly hair. She has long, straight hair. Hasn't cut her hair in like 3 or 4, 8 years. It's like all the way down to her butt.
You mean those are natural curls that you have?
Oh yeah.
I thought you like.
Why would
did
I perm,
that on purpurpose?
Why would I perm my hair?
Dude,
I did.
I permed I had a perm mullet when I was a kid, dude. I loved Yager. I wanted that shit.
Dude, if I had any hair at all, it would be permed straight up.
I have this is naturally flowing. Yeah, this is all. And my oldest daughter has the same thing, and her hair is like a lion's mane of curls. It's actually very beautiful. But
yes, it is.
And you're over here rocking the swear engine.
I'm rocking the swear engine. Yeah, for sure. I'm keeping it
everybody
too.
Cocksuckers.
Cocksucker.
Cocksucker.
We have another question.
Let's throw one more out there.
Yeah, we got one from. I don't know if this is Mr. Arbach or Murbach. Either way, what is something you feel was money well spent that really made a difference for you this riding season? For me, it was buying the El Sandoval bag and a Wild Ass seat. Both are excellent products, have been a game changer for traveling long distances on a motorcycle, and will be used until I or they wear out. Game changer for your bike this year, what's it been?
A dyno tune.
Okay.
That's about it.
I'm gonna agree with him. I mean, I didn't do a lot to my bike this year, but I did get that El Sandoval, and at this point, I think I've got 20,000 miles, or maybe 18,000 miles with that bike. I mean,
How's it holding up?
2 months on the road. I mean, you guys, we all know Adam, and if I thought it was a piece of shit, I'd say it was a piece of shit. That's the best bag that I've ever had. I mean, there's no reason. If I need another bag, it'll be a second El Sandoval. The thing has just been crazy awesome.
I know one thing that I'd like to get. I'd like to get a tour pack for my bike, especially for where FDBM might be next year. I'm not going to spill the beans, but I think it would be worth it for that.
Yeah, I mean,
I would say this year it would either be the Stage 2, and I know it's a very minimal upgrade, but those Arlen Ness method levers, I love those. The hand levers for the clutch and the brake, they just made such a huge difference. I love them. They've been great.
Levers make a big difference for sure.
Yeah, something I should have done a lot sooner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, I think this year, obviously, it was the fairing. the full fairing, the ST fairing I put on my Road King. That was didn't have a full fairing bike before. I had I had another company's fairing. I'm not going to disparage anybody, so I'm not even going to say it on the podcast. You probably all know if you've watched our podcast or seen my bike on Instagram, but a full frame mounted fairing made a ton of difference in my riding season. Reduced wind fatigue. There's a million reasons, but that really made a big difference. Also, full performance suspension made a huge difference too. That was a game changer without a doubt. And what I noticed more about the full performance suspension was not the big bumps. It was the constant kind of like the little pounding that seems to go away.
Wait, do that again.
I was very clearly. You very clearly saw
the little pounding.
It was the little pounding that went away. Yeah,
CGI is going to be a bitch for you, dude.
yeah,
The things we could do with that with AI.
yeah.
Oh man.
Do your worst. I'm not afraid.
I believe that.
Just for clarification, the new fairing you have, it's frame mounted or fork mounted?
Frame mounted.
Frame mounted, yeah. It's a big difference, right?
It mounts right to the frame, and I would say that, it mounts right to the frame. I don't want to disparage anybody else's bike either. I'm partial to frame mounted. I like the idea of it not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And it makes a big difference in the wind and that kind of stuff. As far as that, those kind of things go. So,
Well, as you know, I've had both, and I prefer the frame.
yep.
Mine's frame mounted, but I still get buffeting. I think my windshield's the wrong height for me.
The other thing would just be a piece of gear that was purchased for me. I got this really nice Mama Tried flannel this year from one of my really good friends. For those of you that don't know, Mama Tried is my very favorite motorcycle event because it kind of kicks off our
Even
season
more than
up here.
FDBM, you bastard.
Fucker.
No, I said it's not the same. It's a whole different vibe. But
What did the Red Roof ever do to you?
Yeah, one of my very good friends bought it. Nothing yet.
He
I hope that it
hasn't been
does.
to the plus yet, Prentice.
Yeah, I
God,
hope
I
it
can't wait.
Wait till
I hope the
can't
Red
wait.
Roof does something to me. But
I think he missed that whole part of the conversation, didn't he? That was before he got on tonight.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Was it?
I think so.
So we have discovered that there is a Red Roof Plus. So there's an upgrade from the fuck house Dave was at.
Is there an upgrade?
Okay,
from a
Dave,
fuck
that look is too much. Those eyebrows shouldn't be moving that fast.
Can I say, Andy? I know your season was blown
Different.
up.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I think definitely the Legend suspension that we just put on the trike will make a world of difference going into next season.
Did you do that? Did you do front and rear on that?
Yep. We
Nice.
just got that done last week before we left town. And then the other thing that we did, because we weren't riding as much, we ordered these really, they're not little, they're huge, like motorcycle gear organizers for the basement bedroom where Greg keeps all of his motorcycle clothes and stuff like that. And so we live in a little old ranch style house, so we don't have like tons of closet space. So to make it aesthetically pleasing, you have to have cabinetry that kind of can look nice. And so that made a big difference, just being able to have something to organize all of the motorcycle shit that we have. Cause we have, with all of the projects that he has going on with the Dyna and then just other motorcycle gear in general. So that was kind of fun to be able to put that together and see that mess get picked up, I should say.
Andy, did you make him open all of the boxes of stuff that he had in the room?
Yes, it was a nightmare. So he kept ordering shit because he was just sitting there on his ass, for months. And he's just like, when I get to the Dyna, I want this. And so I would come home and there'd be boxes and I'd be like, what the fuck, Greg? He's like, just take it to the room downstairs. And he hadn't been in the room for over 4 months. And I think like 2.5 months in, I said, Greg, there's not a lot of space down there. He's like, no, it can't be that bad. The first time he went downstairs and looked in that room, he's like, holy shit. I'm like, yeah. And you just kept ordering shit. I was like, and I just kept piling it up. So yeah, we've been working on getting that organized. So that was really nice to be able to get that room put back together. And
well, I would be super interested in getting feedback from you on what you end up feeling the value was, or how different is the ride on that after putting the Legends on. Because I did that test ride on the RG3 and I went from like almost a year of salivating every time I would get near an RG3 to thinking, okay, maybe that's not the thing for me, just because of the lack of stability with the stock suspension. So I'd really be interested after you get some miles on it to hear what your take is.
Well, when we took the trike off of, when we went and got it picked up and they were telling us about it, they tell you very specifically, if you see something coming up, you want to hit it, or you want to roll over something in the road with your back tire, not your front tire, because otherwise you get this wobble. And so I was telling my dad that when he was riding it, and he, being my father, he intentionally rode over things with the front tire so he could then tell what the back tire felt like. And so then when he rode the trike back with the suspension on it, I said, could you even tell? And he said, instantly, because Legends is kind of where he had to take his bike or the trike to get the suspension on. It's on gravel. And he's like, I didn't feel like I was riding on gravel the way that I was when I took it in there that day. Wow. So, yeah, I would say it'll make a huge difference.
Because I mean, for me, it wasn't even like running over stuff. It was just like slow speed trying to get out of the parking lot. The front end just didn't feel stable.
Yeah.
But,
The other thing that's really fucked up about the trikes is that, because obviously they turn, and the way, and I don't know all the technical terms, but what is it called? I had it and I lost it. But when it turns, there's this little lever that goes in.
It's a steering dampener.
Okay, but it's longer on one side than it is the other. And it is a mental fuck. Because when you are riding down the road, everything you feel like should be even on both sides. And when you have this one piece that sticks out an extra like 3 to 4 inches, it's weird. And you get caught up kind of, especially when it's a brand new bike, you're kind of learning everything about it. And you're like, what the hell? So you have to just ignore that. You just,
I didn't notice that. Not to
apparently,
the test ride.
Yeah, apparently that must be a thing whenever so there's something that sticks out an extra 3 or 4 inches, it really messes with your head.
Yes, it does.
Sometimes that's not even extra 3 or 4.
Trust me, dude.
It's
I
just
know
3 or
from
4.
experience.
Sometimes it's only 3 or 4 inches.
That's what I'm saying. It's not extra.
Poor bastard.
Yeah, 3 inches.
So, Prentice, what did you do to your bike this year that was worth the money?
Honest to God, Dyno Tune changed my life.
You did say that. I'm sorry.
But I will say
I
also,
tuned
now
you
that
out.
we're thinking, no, I know you did. It's fine.
She dyno tuned you out.
Dyno tuned me out. Now that we're saying it, fucking tires. I cannot stress this enough. You only have 2 of them. Well, in these games, they have 3. But if you have 2 tires, make sure them shits are in good shape. It will change your life. Also, it's safer.
Yeah.
So when you're riding mad, you can have a little more fun.
There you go.
Or when you're doing wheelies, like I saw Apprentice do, he blanked out his speed, but never mind the fact that you were doing a wheelie.
Yeah. Well, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter if you block out the speed if the front tire's not on the ground.
Don't do wheelies. Dynas can't do wheelies, Ryan.
No.
I wasn't doing a wheelie.
You're right. It was just some sort of weird thing that happened to the road.
Yeah, I blanked out the GPS speedo on my phone, but I completely forgot to do the analog speedometer of the track. Yeah, whatever. No
funny.
one knows where I was. I was in Mexico.
Yeah,
There you go.
that's what they all say.
Well, that was good. Those were good questions tonight.
We ain't done. We are not done.
Oh, let's go.
You cannot do Discord questions without hearing from our friend Mike Oxlong.
Mike Oxlong. Back to the 3 or 4 inches thing.
He's back with another. How do you
Give the man some credit, Dave.
Discord name of the year? Get the man a medal. How do you find time to ride? I take my girlfriend to work Monday through Saturday, and she takes the dogs to work, so I can't take the bike to my job. Since I'm off Saturdays, I do all the housework. Sunday is pretty much our only day to spend time together. So make time.
Yeah. If you want to bad enough, it will happen.
Just make it a priority.
Yeah, that's it.
Unless you have to empty your bladder because you have a tiny bladder that can't go an hour.
Well, that's a valid point.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if you're watching YouTube right now, you know what I'm talking about.
Do you think Ryan's gone
So
an
the-
hour
Oh,
at
yeah.
anything?
Yeah.
So I will say this. The smart ass in me wants to respond to that and say,
Let's hear her.
have
Yeah,
your fucking
bring her
girlfriend do some of the housework so you don't have to do it all.
There you go.
Because he says he does it all on Saturdays. I'm assuming he's saying he does his responsibilities, but I would be like, I want to be an asshole and say that, but
Hire a maid
I don't know.
service.
Figure it out. Gotta
There are
don't do
24
housework one
hours in a
weekend.
day. Sleep 2 hours less and ride 2 hours more.
Or
I mean,
you just say like the third weekend of every month you don't do housework and you live in a dirty house for a week. I don't know.
Yeah, there's 6 other
Stay up-
days. Just
Which-
pencil it in each day.
There's two things
Sometimes
I don't
it's
want to schedule: is
tough.
riding and sex. Those
Yeah,
two things.
yeah, there you
I
go.
don't want to schedule those two things.
No, I mean, it's just, the priorities of the moment, right? I mean, it's like today, I would have loved to have gone out today. Absolutely beautiful here today. And
You didn't?
I was a little stressed and, I really could have used a little ride. Just got the bike back from maintenance this weekend, so she's in good shape, but I had other priorities that I had to take care of.
Yeah, that's for sure. I didn't get to ride as I rode a little. Actually, no, I didn't ride at all today, guys. And guess what? In Florida today, I woke up this morning to 62 degrees, and the high was only 81.
Oh,
Play
that's
the violin.
gorgeous.
Not a cloud in the sky. In fact, so I live just north of where they do all the launches in Cape Canaveral, and I can see every launch. You can see the launch completely out of the atmosphere. It was a bluebird day in Florida, and I did not fucking ride today. Not because I didn't have the time, because it didn't happen.
Yeah. There you go.
Because you were watching Howard the Duck.
Yeah.
That's true. I was watching Howard the Duck, and I had some work to do, unfortunately. And also, I got it ready for Biketoberfest.
There you go.
Racing, riding, showing, it doesn't matter. Bring it on. I'm ready to make it happen.
Maybe I'll come down for that next year. I've always kind of wanted to go.
Come down this year. I got an extra room. I don't know why, but my 6 and 7-year-old kids have king-size beds, so we're always ready.
I'm not sleeping with your kids, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
No. They
Appreciate
sleep.
the
Offer, but I'm not doing that.
No, we anytime someone comes over, we bring them into our room, and we have two
You bring your guest into your room.
Yeah, not the kids. The kids stay in their room. The guest comes into our room.
I'd sleep on that fucking couch.
Yeah. The couch turns into it's like a king and a twin equivalent. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
That one there you're sitting on now?
Oh no, this one? No, this one's this one's a love seat.
Yeah,
so you
I'll
can
sit on
it
the
if
Blanche
you want.
special right there. I want that.
Yeah, I picked this up from Blanche. Honestly, a state sale in Florida.
Oh,
That's
if you
where
got
you
it
get all
from
the good
Blanche,
shit.
then I'm sure it's been well used.
Yeah, it has.
She got her fuck on.
You think so? Well, there's the quote of the night.
There you go.
Big gulps, huh? Well, see you later.
Well, thanks for joining us today to the 5 Dirty Bikers podcast, everyone. Keep it dirty.
And keep the gulp big.
Oh, God.
Keep the
Bye.
keep the gulp
I'm out.
big.